And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, it's what we talked a little bit about yesterday, but thanks to Mark and Eagle, we were ahead of the curve talking about home prices, home valuations, property taxes going up. Is there any good news? Well, maybe if you're heading into work, you might want to take a listen to this. All right, Michael Foose joining us now, Nampa Public Works, talking about this water main break at Garrity at KIDO Talk Radio. Michael, good morning.
Morning.
So what's going on?
So we had a water main break about 3:40 this morning under the overpass on Garrity at the freeway. Traffic, the water crews were dispatched, and they're out here beginning to make repairs, but it's going to take us a while. The roads are closed for the commuter traffic. If you're headed to the freeway from the north, the road Idaho Center is closed at Franklin, and we're diverting traffic over to the 10-mile to get back on the freeway to head eastbound. The westbound on-ramp of the freeway at Garrity is closed. The eastbound is open if you're coming from town or from the south. If you're taking off the freeway at Garrity to head towards the city limits of Nampa, that's being diverted because the break is in it would be the northbound lanes of Idaho Center Boulevard.
Well, it's going to be, well, at least it's Friday, but, again, how much extra time do you think if you're heading in is it going to take, Michael, your thoughts?
Well, this thing, it'll be all weekend it'll probably be this weekend before we get the water main fixed, and then it'll probably be longer than that till we get all the asphalt fixed. There's quite a bit of asphalt damage on the northbound lanes of Idaho Center.
So if you usually use Garrity to get on, it's going to, to go to 10 Mile, what do you think, 20, 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes extra that you should allot for?
I couldn't estimate now. Certainly if you have an opportunity to divert to Franklin or North Side, I'd highly suggest that if you're headed from the north towards the freeway. 10 Mile, all the other Nampa exits are open, but going north on Idaho Center is closed, and it's a safety thing. There's a major hole in the road.
Well, Michael, one more time for people just tuning in, if you could just describe everything and break that down for us here at KIDO Talk Radio.
Certainly, yeah. At about 3:40 this morning, we had a water main break in Garrity under the overpass at the interchange or at the freeway, and so crews were dispatched. We've had to close Idaho Center for northbound traffic at Franklin, and diverting them there. If you have an opportunity to move to take another exit, if you're coming from the north, that's a good suggestion. And crews will continue to work. Water has been restored. The water's restored to all the customers, but it's going to take us a while to fix this break.
Michael, we appreciate it. We'll get the word out, and thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for helping us get the word out.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
580 AM, 107.5 FM, Kevin Miller in the morning. So if you're coming in or around Garrity and Nampa, chances are it's going to take you a while. Best to go to Franklin or use the 10 Mile. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Yesterday we were yapping about this, and like I said, we don't really have callers on this show. We have contributors, and big ups to Mark and Eagle, who said, Kevin Miller, I got to tell you about my property taxes going up. They're going up, they're going up, they're going up. And so the Statesman, I think, what was it, last night, it's the front page today, does a big story on property values going up in Ada County. So if they're going up in Ada County, I'm sure they'll be going up in Canyon County as well throughout the year, in Gem County and everywhere else around here. But John Sowell writes, in the Treasure Valley, home prices has brought another increase in Ada County's taxable property values, the biggest in 11 years. And if you're a property owner, you've gotten the little gem, right? Some people discovering percentages increasing in the double digits in most cases. Now, look, I'm not a financial guru. I listen to Dave Petzo, have for years, admire these people that get this. Maybe we've watched Wall Street too many times where it seems that whether it's a stock, whether it's real estate, really whether it's anything, it's all based on perception, right? So here we go. The median assessed value, where half of all properties are higher or lower, is $251,000, up from, get this, $223,100 last year. So the same home that was assessed at what? $250,000 is now up to $251,000. Well, now it is $250,000. Wow. In 1 year? And then you have the people that are speculating and, doing their own thing and flipping homes and such. And look, I'm amazed at that television series, the Boise Boys. They are very nice young men. I don't know if their series is going to be renewed because there's no tension between them. They're really representative of life here in the Treasure Valley. There's not a lot of tension. My concern about those shows and the flip this and flip that is what we saw back in 07 and 08. If you don't know what you're doing, and sometimes, as our friend Dave Ramsey knows, even if you do know what you're doing, you get caught. And, you fix up a home, and it's not normal. Tell me that it is normal, brothers and sisters, at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Tell me that it's normal that you can buy a home for $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, put in $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, and you're going to make $100,000 in profit. That is a bubble, is it not? So overall, residential assessed values in Ada County rose 11.8%. Assessor Bob McQuaid said the previous 2 years they rose about 8.1% annually. Forget the stock market. It's time to buy real estate, right? I don't know about this. The greatest increases were in Southeast Boise, West Boise, and the Boise Bench, all over 10%. The smallest increases were in Eagle and Southwest Meridian, 9.4%. It's crazy. Now, where does all this increased money go? For the roads? To fix the sinkhole now in Nampa? Think about that. Home prices increased dramatically last year, and early this year, the median price of a home sold in Ada County topped $300,000 for the first time in March. Okay, don't worry about it. It's fallen now to an affordable $295,000 in April. How do they assess the value of your home? And to me, your home is your castle. Your home is stability. It's a place of welcoming. At the Miller home, it's a place of moats, borders, and boundaries. Is it really something that you casually flip? And look, there are a lot of people in real estate, and look, that's the place to be right now. And let's see if the backup career as a overweight personal trainer, as a photographer, digital guy, doesn't work out, then I might be going into real estate. Hey, everybody, buy a home for me. And there are credible people selling homes, but is it really that ridiculous that we need people coming up and sending mailers? I don't know about you. There's a young man that does an excellent job with mortgages. Very successful guy. And he'll send me an email, hey, here is your property value if you did this, this, and this, and encourages me, and I'm a dummy, I don't follow his advice, to pay off your home as quickly as possible, like Dave Ramsey says. But then you get these obnoxious people, and I'm sorry, let me, because we don't want to be offensive, obnoxious people apologizing in advance that they send you these mailers, sell your home with me, sell your home with me and Betty, sell your home with me, Betty Sue, and Ryan. Why? Where am I going to live? Hey, I just made this much on my home. Oh, it's going to cost me double to find something just like it. It's almost as if, in my opinion, the market is too good to be true. Now, yesterday we called upon local governments to give property tax relief. And if you bought your home at a certain value, that's what you should be taxed upon. And as our friend Mike Miniger said, I think freshly from the gym or sleeping, home of Miniger's Auto Body, our great friend Mike Miniger saying, look, Kevin Miller, if you're an old person, if you're retired, you shouldn't be able to, you shouldn't be taxed out of your home. I agree with that. Tea Party Bob agrees with that. But this whole run-up and stuff, I'm afraid we're going to have another bubble, number one. And number two, where's all this additional money going? What am I paying for? It's like the gas tax increase. What am I paying for? The nice cones around St. Luke's so they can build much more expansions and stuff. That's great for St. Luke's, not good for average commuters. Tom in Boise with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tom.
Kevin, I really appreciate you talking about this because every time an official comes on, I call them about property taxes, and they have the exact same statement. I say I don't want to be taxed out of my home. I want to live in the same house I raised my kids in for the last 25 years. And I've been in there since the house was 120, and now it's 300. It hasn't changed to me. It's the same value. I don't plan on selling, but yet my taxes go up and down, mostly up. And it's raised just in the last 4 years 32%. It's ridiculous. So I write my representatives. I talk to the tax assessor, and they write back the same thing over and over. Oh, you'll never be taxed out of your home because there's a law for that. But, yeah, that's true. But I paid off my home, like you said, like the Dave Ramsey way. Yet I really never get to own my home. I get told that I can buy a house and buy property, but I never get to own it. I'm basically just renting it from the government, and once I can't afford the rent, then they put a lien on my house, and I can't give it to my kids, the ones who were actually raised in the home. And so I brought up the exact same thing. I believe I've been telling my government officials, I believe you should be taxed on the value that you purchased the home at, and it should freeze. And then the next person, if they come from out of state and they want to pay $500,000 for my house, they can budget because they know they're going to get taxed on $500,000. And that's where it's at. But I really appreciate you bringing this up, and I'm pretty disgruntled over the whole thing, pretty disappointed in my Ada County officials.
Tom, thank you for listening. Take care.
Thank you.
580 AM, 107.5 FM, Kevin Miller in the morning. Owning your home, do you really own it? As Tom just said, it sounds like we're just serfs dependent upon our government overlords. Think about that the next time you're paying your property tax. Max in Garden City, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, brother.
Hey, it's interesting. In communist China, you can't buy a home. You purchase it, but it's actually on a 90-year lease from the federal government. So you don't pay additional property taxes. It's starting to seem like the commies have got it better than we have it because, like the previous caller said, you don't own your home in America. You're not allowed to own your home because the tax people will take it away. Free country, my left arm.
Well, that's a very good point. What do you make of what? On the other hand, we have limited government. So limited government, we're taxed higher, right?
It's interesting. The problem with government is simple. The people aren't getting involved. They're getting punched and nailed and slammed around and saying, oh, well, I guess that's the way it is. Good grief. We deserve the government we have until we can grow some bravery, until we can cultivate a bit of courage. They're going to keep knocking us around.
Well, make sure you pay attention while you're driving there, too.
Oh, I'm on the Bluetooth. Got you covered, buddy.
Max, anything else?
No, sir, that's it. Great show. Keep up the good work.
All right. Take care. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to Blair in Boise with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Blair.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Hey, wasn't there a move, I forget, maybe 20 years ago, something called the 1% Initiative that was put on the ballot, narrowly defeated, to limit Idaho property taxes to like 1%?
That was before my time, brother.
Oh, well, maybe it's time to bring that back up. I mean, in addition to, making it law that that the taxable value of the home is the sale price of the home and not these assessed values, which are just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I live in South Boise, and I got my nice little letter yesterday, and I looked at it, and I looked over at my wife, and I said, are you kidding me? Because our property tax has gone up, let's see, a couple $1,000s in just the 5 years we've owned that house. That's the tax that we're paying. That's ridiculous.
Well, what do we get for that? What do we get? Increased services?
You know what? Out in my neck of the woods, there isn't a police station for 10 miles. The nearest fire station is 3.5, 4 miles away. So, good question.
Huh. Blair, anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, just have a great day, Kevin, and we'll see you later.
You know, by the way, you threw that out there. I'm sure someone who remembers that will bring that up. So thank you for introducing that topic.
I sure hope so. Anyway, you have a great day.
You too, Blair. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. More of your thoughts. Are you happy about your property taxes? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Hey, don't forget your chance to win Kevin Miller's money. Listen at 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. Usually, and again, I dropped the ball on the last hour, but the word today is money. By the way, coming up at about 8:05, we'll give you the second word, and then today at 3:06 with Sean Hannity. More details at KIDOTalkRadio.com. We're talking about property taxes, and they're all going up. Isn't that lovely? Aaron in Nampa, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned money, which is, I think, spot on. I mean, why do we have a boom-bust cycle? Because of the central bank and the monopoly that it has over money. And when it has loose monetary policy, usually money goes into stocks, real estate, Bitcoin, whatever. And so we have these booms. And, you know, it is definitely a racket because not only does the government tax us with inflation, which is taxation without representation, but then we then get taxed with higher property taxes because of, you know, the flow of money and all that. And you're never going to hear this from people like Dave Petzo, you know, who has a major romance with the central bank and people like that. But there's a great school of thought out there that, you know, goes into central banking, and it's wonderful. And but yeah, I mean, the situation we have right now is horrible, and it's not a free market because of the central bank.
Aaron, great point. Thank you for the call. Traffic and weather together at KID. And let's go to our great friend David Ferdinand joining us, who has some experience as a county commissioner, as a man of the world, as the real estate mogul of Canyon County. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. There is a lien date on the calendar of every county. That lien date is January 1st. So your callers earlier have it right. Once you have a piece of property, then the county, the assessor actually sets a lien date on your property on January 1st. And it's there until your taxes are paid.
Now, wait a minute. Could you repeat that one more time, please?
There is a date on the county calendar every year, and it's called the lien date. That lien date is January 1. That's when the value of your property is set based on what has happened over the last 6 months in property. So when you go into you can go in July, well, the last week of June or the first couple of weeks of July, and go to what's called the Board of Equalization, or that Board of Equalization hearing. When you get your tax notice or what you're going to be charged in taxes, that slip that came out and said this is the valuation, that number has to be equal to everybody in your area. So the guy across the street can't pay any more taxes on the same size, the same value of home. So everybody needs to know you can call your county and you can make an appointment and make sure that your taxes are the amount or the valuation is no higher than anyone else. Because then with the levy rates, that's what sets your tax bill. So you have an opportunity to go talk to your county, and I would suggest everyone do that.
Well, that's a shocker. David Ferdinand, by the way, since we have you on the phone, let's get a preview of God and Country.
Hey, I'm just going into one of those meetings right now. We've got God and Country coming up on the 26th of June. So we're in our, 25-day countdown, Kevin, and it's going to be a great time. We're happy to have Town Square Media, KIDO, the God and Country station, with us this year.
Well, we can't wait to broadcast the event, the music, the pre- and post show. and to be a part of such a historic tradition, not only in Canyon County, but throughout the Treasure Valley.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We've got a lot of great people coming this year. Nick Vujicic, who's a very positive speaker. This guy was bullied in school, and so it's an anti-bullying message. And of course, the great traditional, God and country founders of our nation. The actual tribute to all of those that serve not only in the military but in public service as well. So we're going to have another great year. The military is going to be honored. It'll be a great time.
David Ferdinand, we appreciate you. God bless, and God and country, brother.
And keep talking taxes.
All right. Take care, sir.
See ya.
Pro-life, hang on. Coming up, much, much more. Plus, if you're driving in from Nampa or going to Nampa and you love the Garrity, you're going to want to hear what we have to say. That's coming up next. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And if you're traveling today, may God bless you and take care of you. We so appreciate everything that you've done and hope that you get home safely. And if you're traveling right now, please be very careful. As we said, there's a sinkhole. It's nothing to laugh about. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot of time at the Garrity exit, and so that's closed right now. So you have to travel to 10 Mile and use Franklin and the like. Our friends in Nampa are doing their very best, and we'll hear from Michael Foose coming up on that to give you the details. But let me go over that right now while we're waiting for our friend from Fox News Radio. And the sinkhole is pretty big, but the Idaho Center Boulevard is closed southbound at Franklin. Traffic coming from the north is being diverted at Franklin to go east, and commuters can access the freeway at 10 Mile. Commuters heading from the south to the eastbound on-ramp are able to access the on-ramp heading towards Boise. We'll have more information, including the repairs, when they'll be completed, when that becomes available here at KIDO Talk Radio. We are yapping a little bit about the high cost of property taxes, right? At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And, if you live in the city of Boise, not only do you have, the Ada County, but then you have the Boise city taxes. And the Boise city taxes aren't cheap. I mean, Mayor Beater, he's got to buy new parks and benches and bicycles and everything else, right? That's what he's got to do. By the way, in addition to that, overnight you have a comedian, Samantha Bee. She's a Canadian. She's outrageous. She's controversial. She's flamboyant. And she called Ivanka Trump a name that we won't even go near. And yet people aren't calling for her to get the boot. Some people are. Some people are saying it's a double standard. We'll get to that coming up. Joining us now from your house to Capitol Hill, it is Rachel Sutherland from Washington, D.C., from the Fox News Bureau. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
So, North Korea, should we flip a coin whether or not this is going to happen?
I think that might be a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that yet. Or use my magic 8-ball. Path unclear or whatever. What's happening today is so fascinating because Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, and Kim Jong-un's right-hand man are coming back to Washington from New York, where they've been holding meetings the past couple of days. And this high-ranking North Korean official is going to hand-deliver a letter to President Trump from Chairman Kim. It's raising the drama level by about 1,000% because you don't need handwritten letters. People email, they can text one another. So no one knows the contents of this letter at this point that we know of. And I don't know if it's going to be on camera, but the president will receive the letter. He has said that he's looking forward to reading it. So the drama level is high.
Right. Lots of drama going on. Of course, you have it called off. You have it called on. Pompeo rolling around. Is anybody on Capitol Hill taking note of this, or are they just letting the executive branch lead this one?
I think they're just letting the executive branch lead it and see what happens. I mean, they were criticizing the president, the administration, I should say, last week. Remember when Kim Jong-un, they got very upset, the gang there, about Vice President Mike Pence's remarks about Muammar Gaddafi in Libya and, would end up like him. Of course, he was toppled after he gave up his nukes. It was a span of years before NATO forces toppled Libya. But still, that was something that upset them. So they took a lot of heat over that. Been pretty quiet as far as lawmakers are concerned. I think everyone's just sort of watching all this unfold.
Indeed, of course, it takes your mind off everything else, but there's always something going on. What about, like, the business of running government? Is everybody out on Capitol Hill, or are they doing something?
I believe they're out at this point. I haven't. I've been following this story, so I'm not sure of their actual schedule, but I don't think they're in session at this point. And we'd be hearing a lot more noise from that general direction. And when it comes to other news, though, in Washington, I think the big story is tariffs and the fact that these aluminum and steel tariffs are now going into effect on Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. Both the EU and Canada are already retaliating, essentially. What's interesting about EU's response is that they're going to impose duties on things like bourbon, and it makes you wonder, are they trying to send a message to Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell, the majority leader? Because, that's a big product from his state. So just interesting what they decided to target. So that's all ramping up. But I think really right now in D.C., it's aside from all the other hubbub that goes on, like Samantha Bee and everything else, it's all about the summit.
Right. Yeah, Samantha Bee, Roseanne, and gosh knows what else. Finally, that HBO documentary is beginning to air on John McCain. Any reaction to that at all in Washington?
You know what? I don't know, and I definitely want to check that out myself. I have not checked that out yet. That's maybe something I can do this weekend. When
your work is your lifestyle, I guess you can.
Well, I like John McCain. I had the pleasure of meeting him years ago when he was running for president back in 2000. He's very engaging and warm. Not all politicians are, and so I know that a lot of people are thinking the McCain family. He has certainly lived a full and impactful life, but there's no doubt about it.
Rachel, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too.
Our friend Rachel Sutherland joining us exclusively on KIDO Talk Radio, Fox News Radio, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Let's find out what's happening in Nampa. All right, Michael Foose joining us now, Nampa Public Works, talking about this water main break at Garrity at KIDO Talk Radio. Michael, good morning.
Morning.
So what's going on?
So we had a water main break about 3:40 this morning under the overpass on Garrity at the freeway. Traffic, the water crews were dispatched, and they're out here beginning to make repairs, but it's going to take us a while. The roads are closed for the commuter traffic. If you're headed to the freeway from the north, the road Idaho Center is closed at Franklin, and we're diverting traffic over to the 10-mile to get back on the freeway to head eastbound. The westbound on-ramp of the freeway at Garrity is closed. The eastbound is open if you're coming from town or from the south. If you're taking off the freeway at Garrity to head towards the city limits of Nampa, that's being diverted because the break is in it would be the northbound lanes of Idaho Center Boulevard.
Well, it's going to be, at least it's Friday, but, again, how much extra time do you think if you're heading in is it going to take? Michael, your thoughts?
Well, this thing, it'll be all weekend it'll probably be this weekend before we get the water main fixed, and then it'll probably be longer than that till we get all the asphalt fixed. There's quite a bit of asphalt damage on the northbound lanes of Idaho Center.
So if you usually use Garrity to get on, it's going to, to go to 10 Mile, what do you think, 20, 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes extra that you should allot for?
I couldn't estimate now. Certainly if you have an opportunity to divert to Franklin or North Side, I'd highly suggest that if you're headed from the north towards the freeway. 10 Mile, all the other Nampa exits are open, but going north on Idaho Center is closed, and it's a safety thing. There's a major hole in the road.
Well, Michael, one more time for people just tuning in, if you could just describe everything and break that down for us here at KIDO Talk Radio.
Certainly, yeah. At about 3:40 this morning, we had a water main break in Garrity under the overpass at the interchange or at the freeway. And so crews were dispatched. We've had to close Idaho Center for northbound traffic at Franklin and diverting them there. If you have an opportunity to move to take another exit, if you're coming from the north, that's a good suggestion. And crews will continue to work. Water has been restored. The water is restored to all the customers, but it's going to take us a while to fix this break.
Michael, we appreciate it. We'll get the word out, and thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for helping us get the word out.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Kevin Miller in the morning here, 580 AM, 107.5 FM. Pro-Life, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Yeah, you know, you were talking about property taxes, and the bulk of property taxes go to public schools. And so that's really the solution. As people keep moving here, we have to build more public schools. But if we went to online education, we went to computer education, the children could stay home. We wouldn't have to have buses. We wouldn't have to have all this stuff. And they wouldn't get polluted. Their minds wouldn't get polluted at school. Anyway.
Yeah, but you're right. The general fund, it goes to education. But on the other hand, you're talking about maintaining roads, bridges, and everything else. The gas tax is supposed to go there. The county infrastructure is supposed to go there. And are we getting the return on investment? Hey, if your property tax is going up 11, 12%, where are the 11 to 12% in improvements, or just keeping up with things? Instead, we've got to have a levy for schools. We've got to have a levy for this. We've got to have a bond for that. Who's running the shop here?
Well, 2/3 of the whole state budget is public education. And if we got rid of that, or most of it, I'd say get rid of all of it and just not even have public education because it's a communist doctrine.
I mean, do you really believe that home values have gone up $25,000 in a year or $50,000 in a year, or, the idea of law and, the idea of supply and demand? Do you really believe that a home can rise in value? 5 years ago, it was worth this. Now it's worth 3 times that.
Yeah, obviously.
Is that real value?
No, it's not real value, but I mean, that's what they're selling for. I mean, I don't think our wages and our economy really reflect. We don't have that kind of production it's just people bringing money here, but that's causing the prices to increase. I don't think we can't do anything about that. The thing we can do something about is getting rid of communist education.
You're not going to get rid of public schools, Pro-Life.
No, because you can't find one politician except myself that's going to say it's communist education. So that,
you're not going to win the education vote. And by the way,
of course,
you're not going to win any votes. Look what happened in the primary.
The primary in what
the Republican primary.
Yeah,
you had people voting with their wallets, with their livelihood, and their whatever, and they decided which way to go on that one. Yeah. So if you're going to say, hey, I'm going to cut public education, there are a lot of people that are employed as educators. They're not going to elect you.
Yeah, of course. There's no way that anybody that goes against public education could get elected. It's impossible. I mean, because that's the establishment right there. If you go against public education in any way, there's no way you can get anywhere. So the Republicans are total public education, and so are the Democrats. And so there's no, we're just headed down the road of destruction because...
Yeah, but it's not public education that's causing home prices or taxes to go up in Southeast Boise by 14%, West Boise 13%, Eagle 9.8%.
Well, the burden...
How can we're building... This is how crazy it is. We're building $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes are the norm these days. And what do you get? You don't get the Bonanza Ranch. You get a plot with a little piece of lawn, and that's it, little buddy.
Yeah, I know, but public education will just keep, and they're never satisfied. They'll just take more and more money. And
yeah, but you're missing the point. I miss the Ponderosa.
Yeah, right.
No, but I get your point, but you're trying to hijack the topic.
No, I'm not hijacking
Yeah, you're hijacking the topic. This is about people getting, run out of their homes.
Well, hey.
And if you don't have public education, how are you going to educate your kids?
You're just smart and you stay home and educate your children.
Well, you got to work. How does that work?
Well, hey.
Come on now.
The private education per child.
Private education. You want to look at tuition to private education these days?
But listen to this.
No. you want to look at these schools that are doing the private education. You want to talk about tuition and stuff.
Well,
that's a good business to be in, brother.
Well, listen to this, Kevin. All right. If you take the cost of a public education and to the taxpayers, the total cost per child. Now, like out here in Emmett a few years ago, it was like about $7,000 or $8,000. But you can't find a private school that's going to charge $7,000 or $8,000. It's a little less than that. It might be $5,000, $4,000, whatever.
Well, I don't think there's a big difference between $5,000 or $6,000 if you're paying it out of your pocket. Pro-life, God bless. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Taking your calls on the Samantha Bee story. You have a comedian who, decided that she didn't like the first daughter, had some things to say about the first daughter, went on cable television and said some horrific things. Roseanne gets the boot. Other people get the boot. You have that nitwit at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Rip Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and, nothing happens. The libs run wild. All this does is make, how should we put this, Donald Trump's case all that more significant. Now, before we get to the top of the hour news, I do want to share with you some good news concerning the job numbers for the month of May.
The jobs created, 223,000 jobs were created last month. In the private sector, that's 218,000 more jobs. In the public sector, 5,000 up. The unemployment rate dropped 0.1% to 3.8%. Now, that's the lowest since April of 2000.
And Donald Trump is crazy, right? Let's take a look at this Samantha Bee story. Sponsors are bowing out, but some Hollywood celebrities are applauding comedian Samantha Bee following her vulgar comment about Ivanka Trump.
Two companies, State Farm Insurance and Auto Trader, have dropped their sponsorship of comedian Samantha Bee's TBS show Full Frontal following her vulgar comment directed at Ivanka Trump. Bee apologized in the wake of the fallout, saying she crossed the line and deeply regrets it. Still, some celebrities are applauding the remark. Controversial comedian Kathy Griffin tweeted, "Please do not be hard on Samantha Bee for apologizing. While I was hoping she wouldn't, I know firsthand what it's like being put through the Trump wood chipper." Comedian Billy Eichner also tweeted, "Honestly, I think Samantha Bee was being generous." President Trump weighed in, tweeting, "Why aren't they firing no-talent Samantha Bee for the horrible language used on her low-ratings show? A total double standard, but that's okay. We are winning and will be doing so for a long time to come." Carly Shimkus, Fox News.
And he's right, because our cause is just, and our behavior is impeccable. And that's not hubris, that's just what we try to strive for each and every day. Do you think Samantha Bee's parents, guardians, relatives, co-workers are proud of her? Who would be proud of that? More on that in a minute. But 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's get you to work safely.
Larry Gabbard.
And by the way, leaders of the Mormon Church are telling their faith to be one as they celebrate the anniversary of a milestone. Our own Rob Dawson at KIDO Talk Radio explains.
It's been 40 years since the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints reversed its ban on black people in the lay priesthood. In Salt Lake City, the church's first presidency is holding a special worldwide event called Be One to commemorate the anniversary. Before 1978, black members of the church weren't allowed to go on missions, get married in temples, and serve as church leaders. Despite events like this, some scholars and black Mormons say they still face discrimination because of a lingering belief in some congregations that black skin was a curse. Rob Dawson, Fox News.
56 after the hour, Kevin Miller in the morning here. The idea of civility and culture, are those gone the way of the horse and buggy? That's one thing. And again, back to our issue concerning tax assessments. And this is from Chris. I love this. I don't love that Chris is paying this, but I love his analysis that he's sharing with us this morning. Hi, Kevin. Talking about property tax assessments, our home assessment increased 34% for 2018. If I calculate the assessment increase after the homeowner's exemption, our increase was 45%. This is truly unreal. Now, who do we hold accountable? We just had elections. I think somebody's storming the Capitol this week. That doesn't seem to do anything. Burning something doesn't do anything. Where is the accountability? Well, in Idaho, we believe in limited government. Does that mean we should be believing and practicing in limited taxation? You know, how many people running for governor or running for anything, running for dog catchers, talked about lowering taxes? Maybe the candidates for lieutenant governor, maybe that should have been their platform. I'm going to lower taxes. How are you going to do that? Don't worry about it. I got a secret plan. This is unreal. And you have people coming in here and buying at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. This is probably the worst time to buy a home ever. Kevin, what do you mean by that? Well, because you're going to pay through the nose. And does anybody really believe that the prices and the values of homes are going to continue to rise? And if your taxes, if your property tax assessment going up 45% after the homeowner's exemption, where is all that money going? And is it because, again, we have so many people coming in to buy homes? Who plans for this? Apparently not enough planning has gone into this. 580-5436, 580-KID. I mean, I'm looking at the Boise bench, 12.8% increase. South Boise, 10.6%. Let's go to the good places. Garden City, 12.5%. Eagle, 9.8%. Little Star, Idaho, on the border of Canyon County, you're talking about a 12.1% increase. This sounds, again, like a suburb of Sacramento, not Idaho's Treasure Valley. Let's figure out what we're going to do about it next, shall we? Plus, Sarah Sanders unhinged. Well, not unhinged. She fires back. Listen here for details next.